It is Lisa at True North Homeschool Academy, and I'm here to talk about 2 free science resources that you can use in your homeschool. It always surprises me when I mention these resources that so few people know about them or take advantage of them. So I want to make sure that you have the skinny, because these are resources that are chock full of information. You can use them across grades, multiple ages. You can do a really directed studies with them, or you can just do unit studies that you're making up, or just go on there and follow your areas of interest. So these 2 resources are paid for by the government, so our tax dollars at work. Why not take advantage of resources that are available to us? The first one is NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. You can find this website at www.nasa.gov, and here you will seriously find a treasure trove of educational resources. Not kidding. Breathtaking images from space missions, astronomy picture of the day. You can learn about planets and even follow the Mars rover journey. Now, they have some really cool resources on the NASA site. Not only can you see what they're doing in real time on the space station and with some of the amazing, photographic technology that they have out there, but they also have like a mission to Mars DIY. So you and your kids can create a DIY Mars rover with household items and then learn about the red planet, spark their interest in space exploration. This space exploration right now is just blowing up because you have government space stations and now you have private space stations like SpaceX, and they're willing to just blow things up to research. And it's a very interesting fail-forward approach, but it could be something that your kids are really super interested in. The second thing that they do is a stargazing night. So they have a NASA Spot the Station tool to know where the International Space Station, the ISS, is, when it will be visible from your location, so you can head outside with the kids and witness the ISS gliding across the night sky. Not only that, there are so many other interesting tools and resources on that site. My husband, he can tell you everything about the space program since its inception, literally verbatim. He loves it. So my kids actually got a ringside seat on his lap half the time watching what was going on with the NASA programs, and they all know how to get to the NASA site on their own, because that was just a big part of how he participated in our homeschooling, was sharing his love of the space program with our kids. The second site I want to direct your interest to is NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and you can find this at, I think it's NOAA.gov, right? So they have a couple of really cool things on there. I've been doing these 2-year academic advising plans. They're free. Go to the front page of our website, truenorthhomeschool.academy. Scroll down, and you can just fill out a brief survey for us, and you can get one too. 2-year free academic plan for you. And we've had several kids who have come in lately who are interested in becoming oceanographers or whale watchers. And so one of the things that I list as a resource is NOAA, because they actually have a virtual ocean adventure. So you can explore the wonders of the ocean through NOAA's Ocean Explorer website, which is oceanexplorer.noaa.gov. Dive deep into underwater habitats, encounter marine life, and learn all about oceanography. This is such an amazing resource. And I don't think people tap into it too much. The other thing they have is called Weather Wizards, and it's provided, it's www.weather.gov, to understand weather phenomenon. You can engage your kids in practice predicting the weather based on local forecasts, create a mini weather unit at home, mini weather station at home, and so much more. The other thing they have is marine life arts. You can turn your living room into an underwater world. How fun is that? Does that sound like a homeschool unit study or what? Explore NOAA's fisheries website, www.fisheries.noaa.gov, to learn about marine life. Encourage your kids to create colorful artwork inspired by the ocean's habitats. Whoa, how cool is that? Now, I want to direct your attention to 3 famous weather watchers, because I think people think weather watching has just kind of gone out of style, and why should we even watch the weather? We have people predicting it all the time. But these people change the world, and I just want you to know about 3 people who really took weather watching seriously. The first, of course, is Thomas Jefferson. He was a huge weather enthusiast. Did you know that he was meticulously recording weather data every single day. He documented temperature, precipitation, and more at his home in Monticello. We still have the diaries to prove it. It's so super cool. His dedication to weather observation showcases the timeless connection between science and history, right? So the other person I want to let you know about is Luke Howard, the father of meteorology. Luke Howard was an English manufacturing chemist, and he earned the title the father of meteorology with his groundbreaking work in classifying clouds. This is one of the things we did way back when we first started homeschooling. We used sunlight, which we loved, and one of the first things we did in science was to classify clouds. So in 1803, Luke Howard introduced a cloud classification system that we're still using today: cumulus, stratus, and cirrus. And his observations laid the foundation for modern meteorology and our understanding of cloud formations. How cool is that? Ben Franklin, a founding father and a weather pioneer. He was, of course, one of the founding fathers of the United States, not only a statesman and an inventor, but a very passionate weather observer and watcher. And in the 18th century, he conducted experiments with kites to study electricity and thunderstorms. We all know about those, right? And that led to this discovery of lightning as a form of electricity. And his interest in atmospheric phenomenon contributed significantly to our understanding of weather and lightning. So these three weather watchers really changed the world with their just observing weather and talking about gardens and all that they did for so many different areas that they were interested in. Now, I just want to share with you guys, if you think weather watching is just kind of like a silly little game, I want to tell you that it really actually helps develop critical thinking skills in your kids. So I want to give you some ways in which it does that. And I say weather watching, but NOAA and NASA are the same kind of things, because you have to watch the weather to fly into space, right? At least get out of this atmosphere. But one of the first things that kids learn when they're weather watching is pattern recognition. And that absolutely builds critical thinking. If you're keeping a journal day to day about what the weather's doing and what the clouds look like and what the temperature is, you very quickly learn pattern recognition. Weather patterns are absolutely not random. They follow specific trends and cycles. That's the way we can predict the weather. And by regularly observing and analyzing weather conditions, individuals develop the ability to recognize patterns, and that skill is absolutely crucial for critical thinking, as it involves making connections, identifying trends and patterns, predicting future outcomes based on observed patterns. Now, if you're a Laura Ingalls Wilder fan like our family is, we live just an hour south of DeSmet, South Dakota, where the Ingalls family lived for quite some time. You might remember in one of her books, I don't think it was The Long Winter, but in one, actually maybe it was, in that book, an Indian came into the general store and said, we're going to have a really hard winter because we had one this many cycles ago. So the Indians were watching weather patterns. And actually, an interesting little small world tidbit, Brian Carsons, who is teaching astronomy for us this year, I heard him give a talk, or we actually met at a talk on someone who was doing their master's or their PhD dissertation on, was the long winter actually real? And honestly, she actually put together weather records and really conducted this amazing experiment to determine that, yes, in fact, the long winter was a real winter in South Dakota. Anyway, I met Brian years ago at that presentation, and it was such a fascinating presentation. Okay, so your kids can learn pattern recognition with weather watching. So super cool. The other thing your kids can learn from weather watching is problem solving through data analysis. And that absolutely builds critical thinking, because weather watchers collect and analyze various data: temperature, humidity, wind speed, atmospheric pressure, right? So many different things. And then engaging in that data interpretation enhances critical thinking skills. It requires individuals to analyze information, draw conclusions, and make informed decisions. That skill is transferable to so many other areas where data-driven problem solving is essential. Now listen, I was just on a Zoom meeting with educators from all over the world this morning, and we were talking about how to really enhance and make sure that our academic programs are up to speed. And one of the ways that they're talking about is how to collect data and how to analyze it. So this is transferable knowledge and skills that your kids are learning by just weather watching. So super cool. The last way is that forecasting and decision making. These are absolutely parts of critical thinking. Budding meteorologists, they are tasked with making forecasts based on available data. That includes synthesizing information, considering multiple variables, and making decisions about future weather conditions. And the ability to make accurate weather predictions requires critical thinking, including evaluating evidence, assessing potential outcomes, and adjusting strategies accordingly. Weather is so very important to us today as people are traveling and as people are growing things. I mean, it's not ever going to go out of style, right? So I just wanted to alert you to these two amazing free-to-you programs. Of course, we pay for them with our tax dollars. NASA and NOAA, NOAA and NASA. Great resources. Now with NOAA too, you can log on and you can put in your location and then it will tell you the weather. There's all sorts of like different pages you can go to. It won't just tell you the weather, but it will actually give you satellite data. And if you're really a serious weather watcher or want to become one or want to show your kids what goes into all this, it's a great resource. Becky's saying she just introduced her kids to the NOAA site today in science. Yay, Becky. I love it so much. So I wanted to let you know, we love science at True North Homeschool Academy. I'm not the scientist at my home. My husband is the true blue scientist. He's a social scientist, but his absolute passion is hard sciences. And so we know a lot about science in our home because of him, and I'm so grateful. But if you don't have somebody that you can rely on in your home to teach science, or you just want your kids to have that little bit of oomph with a qualified science instructor, or you have a kid who can't get enough science, we have classes for you, okay? So in elementary school, we have Science Exploration A and B. These are taught by Laura Nolette, and they do a science experiment every single week. And when kids get into those classes, they don't want to leave them, so she changes them every single year. Some of our kids have been in those classes for, I think, going on their 4th year, and they have new experiments because Laura is just that kind of science teacher. She knows how to explain why things worked, why they didn't. They have so much fun in those classes. They are cracking up, learning science, and it is just a joy to watch those classes. For junior high, we have general science taught by Melissa Grande, who has a science background, and we're also offering science at the movies, Science with Marvel, also taught by Melissa Grande. One of the most creative physical science classes you will ever hope to watch or be part of. They take the Marvel universe and look at, could this really happen? So it is such a fun smash up of fantasy and reality. Melissa does such a great job of making her classes interactive and dynamic and fun, and she really understands science. Now, she's a professional musician, but I have found that those two professions often go hand in hand. We have a friend who is the director of the music department at a Big Ten school, and he said so many of the music kids go on to apply to med school or PhD in physical therapy programs and stuff. So that's really kind of a common duality of interest, I think. It always interests me that those two go together, but it kind of makes sense because it's a very exacting kind of way of thinking of the world. So Melissa's on it. Her classes are so organized. She's coming from a wild and free and Charlotte Mason background, and she really knows that middle school kids are not ready to give up all that. And so her classes are so project-based and engaging and fun. She is a dynamo teacher. You're not going to go wrong with any classes Melissa Grande teaches. She is also teaching in high school environmental science and astronomy for the 24-25 school year. These are both very project-based, very hands-on and practical classes. So if you have a kid who wants to go into farming or entrepreneurship, or they're not really sure that they're going to go to college, these are great science classes for them. Or if you have a kid who just doesn't like to get into the hard sciences, but you still need a science credit, fantastic classes for these kids. And again, Melissa, they do science experiments, they write lab reports, they understand the scientific method, they know how to apply it. And when I say environmental science now, that class is a great comp for biology. So if biology doesn't work with your schedule or whatever, environmental science will work for that. But I know we have a lot of future farmers at True North Homeschool Academy. God bless you. We have a lot of farming families. We're so grateful for you. This would be a great class for your kids, because if they are out in the fields with their dads and grandpas and moms and grandmas, this class is going to really help tie all that kind of stuff together. The astronomy class, of course, ties in directly with what we're talking about. Melissa is taking this class over in 24-25. She can't wait. She's so excited. She is going to incorporate not only astronomy, how to read star charts, all the basics that you will need to know for astronomy, with what's going on in the space programs right now, both private and commercial. And believe me, there is a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I told you my husband was a space watcher, right? So we are watching it all the time. There's just so much cool stuff happening, and Melissa's really excited. One of her sons is in CAPS, and so she's got a lot of resources available to bring to the class. Not only that, she goes after stuff. And of course, you know that Dr. Kristen Moon teaches our biology, chemistry, physics, and anatomy and physiology classes, and those classes fill fast and stay full. So if you're looking for some great science classes taught by science teachers who just delight in science and are so excited about inspiring your kids to look up from their cell phone and look around and enjoy the discovery of this beautiful world, from the smallest things in the ocean to the greatest things in the sky, our classes are for you. So if you have any questions about any of them, let me know. Enrollment is open, and we would love to have you in our classes in the 24-25 school year. I'm so excited to have such a great lineup of classes and teachers this year. And yeah, everything on the website is live, ready to go. Now, I mentioned really quickly that two-year academic plan that we are offering for free. I'm doing all of those, and it's been so much fun. I love academic advising. Part of it is because I love to see where kids are going, and I love to help provide resources for you. Of course, I'm going to share with you academic classes that make sense based on if they're going to go into entrepreneurship, college or university, Ivy League, or VOTEC school, or whatever their future plans are, and then I'm going to provide more resources like NOAA or NASA or whatever. So be sure and check that out. Go to the front page of the website, truenorthhomeschool.academy, scroll down, and you can find a button there to click, and we just need a few pieces of information from you. You can keep your kids' names private and secure if you want. We don't need to know all the details unless you want to share those with us. We don't sell our lists or share them with anyone, so it's very secure and private. And then you'll get information back from us within, I would say, usually it's like a quick turnaround of a day, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time. The other thing too, we are offering 15-minute free academic advising appointments to you. Now, if you are not sure how to pull your kid from public school, or they're unmotivated, or you're not sure what's next, or you just don't even know what to think about as far as next steps for homeschooling, that 15-minute advising program is phenomenal. Tamara Poole does it for us. If you know Tamara Poole, you know she is so amazing. And so it's 15 minutes on Zoom, and if she feels like you need more information or whatever, she'll suggest a different path to go, but you get 15 minutes with her, and it's free to you. So great resources available to you. Hi, Kian. So good to see you on here. I'm glad you're here. You guys, if you have any questions about our science classes or any of our classes, we're here for you. You can just leave a chat under this live, or start a chat on the website, truenorthhomeschool.academy. A real person sees those chats. There's a number and an email there. You can always get a hold of us. So glad to tell you about our science classes, because we love them. They're so good, and we love science. We want your kids to be excited about science. I say this in all my workshops. The Young Earth Society meets yearly in New York. The Transhumanists meet yearly in California. Our kids are going to live in this smash-up world of medieval thought and sci-fi. That's their world. So we need to give them the tools that are going to equip them to think well and think critically, so that they can stand firmly on truth as they go into this very unique, unprecedented, dare I say it, exciting world of the future. You guys, I'm Lisa. Great to talk to you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.